Hi y'all, I'm Nancy, and my job title is Entrepreneurship Librarian, but what that means in actuality is that you have questions and you can ask me questions and I will help you answer them. What I'm going to do is show you very quickly the research guide that compiles library databases and organizes it. I'm just going to show it to you. So I'll show you the guide, and I'm gathering that y'all talked a lot about primary research today for your Lean Canvas interviews and things like that. So that's one really important piece of developing your Canvas. Another aspect of research that will help you flesh out your Canvas and your ideas is doing secondary research, looking at reports on the industry that you're in, studying census and demographic data to find out where do people live that might want to buy my product or service, or where are these people living that I want to, where are my customers living? And so that's what this guide is going to help you find, is where do I look for this kind of secondary research, these reports and other data. Right now, the way to find it is through the library website. We're going to get a link to the guide on the Makeathon website this week. So if you want to follow along, if you go to the library website, I usually just Google UNC libraries, and then it comes up. So if you want to do that, go ahead. And I'll just give you a hot second to get there. OK. So across the top of the page, you'll see all of these drop-down menus. If you hover over Support and Guides, you get options. Select Course Pages. So along the top of the library homepage, hover over Support and Guides, and then select Course Pages, which is the second option on that list. And then you get all of these subjects. Scroll down to Economics, and and click on that, and down at the bottom of that list you'll see Lean Canvas. Go ahead and click on Lean Canvas, and I'm going to just open that in a new tab. So I'd hovered over Support and Guides, clicked on Course Pages, got to this page, scrolled down, selected Economics, and then I clicked on Lean Canvas, and this is what you should see. It's a guide to library resources that will help you have a well-researched Lean Canvas to complement nicely with your different interviews and things. The databases and things that are in this guide, the libraries pay a lot of money for. This is very expensive information that you have access to at zero marginal cost when you use it. So it's really great resources while you're here at UNC. But I just wanted to let you know that this information is expensive. So I hope that you are able to take advantage of it while you have it. There's a few different tabs across the top. These are the boxes, the blocks of the Lean Canvas, and some different resources that kind of go with the boxes. In a couple of minutes, I'll show you 2 or 3 of my favorite databases that you may find the most broadly applicable across a lot of these boxes. You'll see a lot of repetition probably. So problem, solution, and then like key metrics and measurement. Some resources that will help you kind of figure out what's going on in the market, what do consumers value, what language are people using to talk about their values, so that then as you're developing your value proposition and things like that, you can use some of that same vocabulary and language so that people can automatically understand what you're talking about when you're talking to them. Customers and channels, cost and revenue. Y'all are intelligent people. I'm going to let you read those descriptions for yourselves. But also because there's a social impact social piece component to this, I just wanted to point out there's a tab about social impact. And there's not like one, this is the social entrepreneurship database. So there's a few tips and tricks for ways of finding information that talks about the social aspect of entrepreneurship and your idea. Okay, so that was the main point of what I wanted to tell you about today, was that this guide exists. I hope that you will look at it. And during the Make-a-thon week, I will be holding office hours, I think 3 or 4 days during the week for couple hours each time. If you go through this and you have questions about how to use a database, what kinds of, just like, you look at the page and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Or if you find some things and want to talk about the information that you find, those are great reasons to come to office hours and to have a individual conversation with me. You and your team can come, or just one person from your team. There's a limit to how much me talking at you will help you. So really, I encourage you to get into these databases and play around with them, see what you can figure out, and then keep a list of your questions. Did want to show you just a couple of things. If you are following along, go to the problem, solution, and metric page. And if you look across the top of the page, you'll see the same database 3 times, IBISWorld industry reports. Have any of y'all used this before or seen it? Cool. I've gone into a lot of the entrepreneurship minor, like the Shuford program classes in the past semester or so, and shown this to them, to those classes. So I just didn't know if any of y'all had been there. So I'm going to click on IBISWorld, and what these reports are, they are organized by US industry. And I usually search for keyword. How would I determine what industry my idea is in? Do you have any thoughts about that? The cricket clearly does. So just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to search for thrift stores, because let's say my idea is to have a clothing exchange on campus, which I know there already is, but just... So I started with my keyword thrift, and lo and behold, here is suggested searches. So I'll just click on the first one, and then it gives me a lot of different results based on my keyword. And then this is an example. All of the reports in this database have the same features. They give you an introduction and some information about what usually happens in the industry. And then across the top are the different sections of the report. There's financial statistics, growth of the industry, how is the industry doing, the different products and markets. So this products and markets section will be helpful as you're figuring out like activities and partners and resources and things like that. Also major companies. So I heard Don talk about like who are the competitors in your industry who might be doing similar things. So kind of seeing what the major companies in this industry and kind of how they operate, what their products are, things like that could be helpful to you. So that one's, I find IBISWorld to be pretty straightforward. So I hope that you will, like pretty straightforward and intuitive. I hope that you will as well. But if you have questions, that's why I'm here. That's not what I wanted to do. So when I'm back on the guide, if you are looking for companies operating in your area, doing in your same industry, if you want to look by geography, Reference USA is a directory of businesses. And you can search by geography, by industry, by number of employees, all sorts of different variables. So from this page, I would select US businesses and then do an advanced search. And if I'm wanting to operate my business here in Chapel Hill, and I want to see what other thrift stores are in Chapel Hill, then I can, over here on the left are the different variables to choose from. I would select city, state, and then I can search Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Hit go. And then once it stops, as it thinks, it's going to pop up in a box, and I'm going to get to put it on the thing. Sometimes Reference USA takes a little bit of time, especially, yeah. I was up in DC this weekend, and there was snow on the ground. And I thought to myself, and then there was a neighbor boy that came up to my friend's door while I was over, knocking on the door and said, "Hey, can I shovel the snow off your walk?" And so he was being entrepreneurial and trying to come up with a story to fill this time. So Reference USA is not behaving. It works. If you play around with it, I would search by industry right here, by business type, and I would select keywords, and then I would use a keyword search to see what industry a thrift store might be in. Sorry about that, but they work when they want to and not when I'm trying to teach. Two others, a database that's going to be really helpful for financial information, cost structure, and revenue is CB Insights, and it has financial information about private companies primarily. So I just wanted to point that out to you. This is under the cost and revenue tab there. And then as far as for customers, my absolute favorite database is Simply Analytics. So this one I'm going to ask that you do not click, that you do not follow me into the database, just because if a lot of people are in it at once, it slows down a lot. So in Simply Analytics, you can use a map to analyze demographic information and also what kinds of businesses are located in a particular geographic area. So there's a tutorial right when you start, and it gives you a tour of the database. So I recommend clicking through that and learning some. And then also, once you have started your project, so I'm just going to do Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And so this is going to give me just a basic, this is the default map with housing and household income and education. In the map, there's also, or this other tutorial, if you click on support, and then there's a 5-minute intro to Simply Analytics video. I watched that video, and that's how I learned how to use, I watched this 5-minute video to learn how to use this database. So it's really great. And so before you start trying to use this database, watch the video. And you'll learn how to search for businesses by location, and also about demographic and consumer information. There's lifestyle and market research data in here as well. Okay. Those are 4 databases that I think will help you. There's a lot of stuff here, so I encourage you to read through, take notes, play around, and then come to office hours during the Make-a-thon week to ask questions and talk about your Canvas and secondary research and things like that. So that was a lot of me talking to you. Do you have any what are your thoughts and questions? And if you don't have them now, that's totally fine. Cool. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Please come to office hours. Yes?
During the Make-On Week, where is your office?
That's a great question. The location is going to be on the schedule. I think most of the office hours are going to be, I'm going to be in Keenan Science Library. Usually, my full-time office is in Davis Library. So if you have business or economics or entrepreneurship questions outside of the Make-a-thon, you can schedule an appointment with me by clicking on this button under my picture. And so those appointments are going to be in my office in Davis. But during Make-a-thon, I'll be in Keenan Science Library. Thank you. That's an excellent question. Okay. If there are other questions, speak now or hold your peace till Make-a-thon week. Other than that, I'm finished. So.
And then with that, we're done. You guys did a great job. Round of applause for Don and Nancy. And there's a bunch of pizza out in the hallway, pizza and salad.